FA Cup. The first FA Cup was stolen in 1895. The second one was given to the chairman of the FA in the 1950s. So the FA Cup you see today is the third FA Cup. And Celtic are the record holders of the Scottish Cup. We won it 42 times. Nobody else comes close. So that's a good choice. The trophy here at the back, this is the Premier League, the Scottish League, the top division title. Now Celtic, it's their 54th league title, and given the results here and how well we're playing and given how well they're not playing, I would say it's going to be 55, 56, 57. In fact, I think we should just put it on permanent display because it's not going anywhere else anytime soon, is it? And the trophy in the the centre is a trophy that we won only a couple of weeks ago. Did everybody see the game? Did you watch the game? The League Cup final, wasn't it fantastic? 3-3. I tell you what though, I was a bit nervous when it got to penalties. My hands were shaking like that, but we scored 5 of 5, and this is the Scottish League Cup. So that means that all of the trophies in the men's game, Celtic have got them all now. There's only 3, we've got all 3. Isn't it wonderful?
Yes.
Anybody else like to pick a trophy? Who else would like to pick one? Coronation Cup. The Coronation Cup, that's a good choice. I did say youngsters, mind you, so I say yeah.
Even you know what one that is.
This one here, this is a good choice. This gentleman has picked this trophy. It's the Coronation Cup. Now, there's only ever been 3 British Cup competitions. Guess what teams won all 3?
Sorry.
Celtic, of course. This was the last of the 3. Yes, well, I'm giving you 10 points for that as well. Well done, you're right, Celtic. Now, there's 3 of the trophies that we've won. We might talk about the others, but this is the third of the 3. And it was played for in 1953 as part of the Queen's coronation. Now, I'm sure all the Celtic fans here, like me, will know we had the King's coronation recently. And like me, you'll have your edited highlights you watch over and over again on a regular basis. Well, this was played for his mum's coronation in 1953. It was a best of British, 4 from England and 4 from Scotland. But here's the interesting thing. Celtic were only invited to take part in the competition to make up the numbers. Literally. Why? Well, at that time, this was not a good Celtic team. Celtic had won 1 trophy in 15 years of Scottish Cup. And the season of the Coronation Cup, they had finished 8th in the league. Unthinkable now, isn't it? But they finished 8th in the league. So why were they invited? Well, it's because of the connection between the support and the club. Remember what we said at the beginning? Celtic came into existence to help feed the poor. That's why they invited us, because they call us a club like no other, because there is a connection between the support and the club that goes beyond football. And the supporters come out and watch this team no matter how well or how badly they're playing. So they wanted the Celtic to win the tournament, to fill the stadiums, but they weren't expected to do anything. The favourites to win it were Arsenal. Celtic beat them in the quarterfinals. The second favourites were Manchester United, and Celtic beat them in the semi-finals. And in the final, this always tickles me, the final of the British Coronation Cup was between Celtic and Hibernian, the 2 biggest Irish Catholic clubs on the planet. How I wish I could have been at Buckingham Palace to watch the game that day. Celtic were going to win the game 2-0. And for me, the greatest thing that ever happened to Celtic Football Club was the man who lifted the Coronation Cup that day, Celtic's captain. Does anyone know who it was?
McGregor.
Yes. Well done, you sir. That's 20 points you've got there. That's a cracker. It's Jock Stein. Now, we're going to talk about him at the end of this part of the tour about Celtic winning the European Cup. But people forget that he was a player at Celtic. Remember what I said? He'd won 1 trophy in 15 years. Jock Stein was brought back to Celtic. He was made team captain. And then he led us to the Coronation Cup. And the season after, our first League and Cup double in 40 years. That's how important Jock Stein was for Celtic. Any other of the kids like to pick a trophy before we carry on? You want one? Which one do you like to pick? Which one would you like? It's a whole cabinet here. You can pick any one you like. Well, I'm going to save that. I'm going to save that because that's the last one. That's the biggest trophy I want to pick. Anyone over there? Over there? Anyone? What about? Oh, I'll tell you what. Why don't we talk about it? Should we talk about the ladies? Right, this one. So this trophy here, this is the Women's League title. And it's a bit of karma involved in this one because 2 seasons ago, the Celtic ladies lost the league title on the last day of the season. They won their game 2-0. The other game between Glasgow City and Rangers, had it finished a draw, the Celtic women would have won the league title. Glasgow City scored in the 6th minute of injury time. The 6th minute, the last kick of the ball to rob them of the title. We were gutted for them. But last season, they won the league title with literally the last kick of the season here at Celtic Park against Hibernian. They won 1-0. And this beautiful trophy means that not only are the Celtic ladies the league champions of Scotland, but for the first time in the history of British football, the men's and the women's team won the league title in the same season. It could only be Celtic, couldn't it? Couldn't be anybody else.
Yeah.
Anybody else like to pick one, or shall I just tell you? Yes or no? The Shield. Oh, that's another good choice. So between 1904, 1910, Celtic would win the league
Both
6
smart.
times in a row. It was a Scottish, British, European and a world record. And we were given this lovely shield. Now within the shield there are 6 circles. Each circle represents each of the 6 seasons that Celtic won the league. Within each circle, every squad member's name from that season is engraved. Now considering it's over 100 years old, it's a lovely piece of work. Celtic's manager at that time, in fact it was Celtic's first ever manager, was a man called Willie Maley. Who would like to have a guess? How many years was Willie Maley manager of Celtic? Would anybody like to guess? Yeah. 6 is a good guess. I'll give you 1 point. It's more than 6. What's your guess?
9.
9's a good guess. Oh, I'm giving you a point as well, but it's more than 9. Anybody else like to guess? Yes or no?
18.
18 is a very good guess. I'm giving you 2.5 points, but it's more than 18. Who said 52? You've gone the other way, so I'm going to give you 3.5. So that's the closest. This gentleman said 52, which you might think is a ridiculous number, but it's not, because the actual answer, yes, what's your
40.
4. I'll give you 4 points because you're the closest. Well done, young man. The actual answer is 43 years. He was manager of Celtic for 43 years. Now think about it, if you last for 43 months these days, you're a veteran, right? 43 years. He found Celtic legends like Jimmy Quinn, Jimmy McMenemy, Patsy Gallagher, and another man that some people talk about as a Celtic legend. He's not. He is a world legend. It's a man called Jimmy McGrory. Now listen to these stats. Games played, 547. Goals scored, 550. It's more than a goal a game. It's a British record and it still stands to this very day. Now, it used to be a European record. It was only beaten a couple of years ago. Maybe some of the kids can help me because I can never remember the name of the guy that beat the record. He's a little fella, played for Barcelona. Anybody know that one?
Messi.
Messi, that's it. I keep forgetting that name. What's he ever done in football, eh? But so important was, you were going to say Messi, weren't you? So I'm going to give you 10 points for that. Well done. And so important was it, the night that Messi broke the record, Barcelona put a tweet out saying, finally, the great McGrory's record has been beaten. That's how important it was. Anywhere else? One last trophy and then I'll tell you one more story and then we'll crack on. Which one, young man?
British League
The
Cup.
British League Cup. This trophy right up here means that for a second I'm going to have to talk about a trophy that Rangers won. Oh, it gives me shivers when I have to say that. So this is called the British League Cup, but it wasn't always called the British League Cup. Back in 1901 in Glasgow, we opened the Kelvingrove Art Gallery and Museum. For those not from Glasgow, please go and visit the Kelvingrove Art Gallery while you're here. It is stunning, it's free, and you will spend hours there. It's fantastic. So when they opened it, there was a big festival held. Part of the festival was a football competition, Best of British, Best of Scottish. All the teams of Scotland took part, and Rangers won. So that was this lovely trophy. The following season in 1902, there was a game at Ibrox between Scotland and England. There was a terrible tragedy. A stand collapsed. 25 people lost their life. To their great credit, Rangers put this trophy up again and now called the British League Cup to raise funds for the families that had lost lives. It's a lovely gesture, isn't it? The best 4 teams in Britain took part. Celtic, Rangers, Everton, Sunderland. In the final, Celtic played Everton. And it was, Celtic played Rangers. Guess who won this time?
Celtic.
Celtic, yes, and we won the game 3-2. A hat-trick was scored by a man called Jimmy Quinn, and this is
I
one
got
of
20
the shirts
points.
he wore back in 1910. And if you have a look at it, you'll see some marks on it. Now, it looks like chocolate. It's not. It's blood. And it's actually harder to find a strip without blood that Jimmy Quinn wore because he was one of the hardest men that ever played for Celtic. And he won. And Jimmy Quinn was one of only 8 Celtic players in the history of the club to score a hat-trick against Rangers. Isn't that incredible? Only 8 Celtic players have done it. Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah.
And do you know who all the other 7 players are? Well, I'm going to give you 5 points for that guess anyway, but I'll tell you the rest.
That's 5.
You're 5. I'll tell you what, I'll give you 50 points then because you're 5. How's that? Well done. Okay, folks, I'm going to finish this part of the tour now with the European Cup. Folks that are sitting behind you, welcome to come a bit closer if you want to see this. So, for those that don't know, and shame on you if you don't know, Celtic won the European Cup in 1967 in Lisbon in Portugal. That's why the team that won it are called the Lisbon Lions. A couple of things about the trophy you might not know. It's the first time this European Cup had ever been played for. The European Cup before this was smaller and squatter. It was given to Real Madrid to keep in 1966 when they won it for the 6th time. It's the first time Celtic had ever played in the European Cup. Can you believe it? The first time we played in it, we won it! Yeah! That's another point for you. Well done. The Celtic won it. It's incredible. Now, some people talk about it as the first British team to win the European Cup. Now, that is true, folks, but it's much, much bigger than that. It is a monumental achievement. Celtic were the first team in the whole of the north of Europe to win the European Cup. Let's go through it. Before the English, forgive me, folks, before the English, before the French, before the Germans, and before the Dutch. Before Franz Beckenbauer, Johan Cruyff, or Bobby Charlton get anywhere near this, Celtic. That's how big it is. Never forget it. So for all the Celtic fans, I shall assume you've all seen the full 90 minutes of the match. If not, why not? Highlights are not good enough. Watch the game. It's a football. Have you heard of Pep Guardiola?
Yes.
Tippy-tappy football?
Yeah.
Right. Jock Stein was doing that in the 1960s. And if you don't believe me, watch the game. Here's the stats. Shots on goal. Celtic, 45. Milan, 45. Milan's, how many do you think they had? It's the same as your age.
5.
5, you're right. 5, that's all they had. The man of the match was the Sarti, their goalkeeper. That's no surprise. Celtic hit the woodwork 3 times. We could have won this game 12-1. It is a watch the game. This is my earliest memory as a child. I watched this game at my aunt's house. We didn't have a TV. My dad had gone to Lisbon to the match. The team we were playing against, Inter Milan, they scored first. And when they did, my mum and her 2 sisters dropped to their knees and started praying. Clearly it worked. Tommy Gemmell equalised, and then the winning goal, the most important goal in Celtic's history so far, was scored by a man called Stevie Chalmers. And forgive me, I have to whisper because that is Stevie's jersey. He wore that in Lisbon. I want to touch it, but they won't let me. No matter how many times I stand here, I can't believe I'm that close to Stevie Chalmers' jersey. Folks, I'm going to finish this part of the tour with one last thing, and then we'll like take pictures. Oh, you're that happy to get rid of me already? If you turn and look behind you, there are 3 display cabinets behind you. Now, these are 3 sets of medals of Lisbon Lions. On the far left is a man called Bobby Murdoch. Emily's 2, that ties in with Billy being the manager twice, doesn't it? Right, so she's a Celtic fan as well. Are you going to help with your Celtic fan? Good. So Billy was the manager of Celtic twice, and he was always asked about Celtic. How does it, explain Celtic to us? Tell us what Celtic means. And he always gave the same answer. He said Celtic is like a fairy tale, a fairy story, and I'm going to prove it to you now. So who can tell me what